am sayakatcosplay, and I am kind of obsessed with House of the Dragon. So if you don't know, I actually am a big Game of Thrones fan. I've read all the books, including Fire and Blood, which House of the Dragon is based off of. And I started watching the first season of House of the Dragon, and it went, that Ralph Wiggum meme, I'm in trouble. Because immediately there was armor and amazing costuming, and I was almost about to make Daemon Targaryen's armor from like episode 1, but then I was like, no, 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 hold your horses, because then we got Rhaenys' armor. Princess Rhaenys wears armor in episode 9 and 10, and oof. Yes, I must make it. And I must pattern it. So I have already made her shoulder armor pattern, and this video is going to cover me making and patterning her chest armor. All of these patterns are going to be available on my web stores on both my Ko-fi and my Etsy. So if you want to make this for yourself, you can. So all those patterns are going to be available. So if you don't want to pattern it yourself, you don't have to. I already did it for you. The pattern for this also includes all the details. They are digital. I haven't done it yet on this just because, oh, it's very detailed. So today's video is going to be all about how to make the chest piece, which is a wraparound full chest armor situation. I believe the actual armor in the show is a combination of leather and metal, but today I'm going to be making it out of foam, and I'll show you all the little bits and pieces that can be made out of foam and added and blah, blah, blah. So if you'd like to know how to make her chest armor, or just female chest armor in general, because it's a pretty generic shape, it just has a lot of details on it, here's the video for that. All right, let's get into it. So as with all of my patterning, I'm starting out with my handy dandy dress form and saran wrap and tape wherever it may be. So I like to use masking tape. I have a ton of masking tape. This is 1 inch wide masking tape. You can use wider. This is just what I have. So I'm going to cover my dress form in saran wrap and masking tape so that I can draw out the pattern. You can also do this on yourself. I just find it's easier for me to do it on the mannequin, and if I need to fit it on myself later, I'll do that. So I'll do the initial patterning on the mannequin and fit it on myself later. That's just how I like to do it. One fully tipped mannequin. So now I gotta stare at Rhaenys' armor on my computer and then draw it on the armor. And because it's symmetrical, I'm only making half the pattern so that it gets mirrored on the other half. This is a bit of a time-saving hack. I mean, you could make the whole pattern, but all right, so after staring at my computer and actually staring at episode 10 for a good like half an hour, I have a pretty much done pattern. So it's gonna be one piece here, one piece here, and then the back is actually probably gonna be one entire piece because it looks like the closures are at the sides and at the shoulder. So it does actually look like, in the show, it's pretty practical, and the front piece overlaps the back and has a buckle here, and I can see 2 buckles or 2 attachments at the side on the back, and it's like slightly off the kind of natural like seam that would fall in the middle of the body, so it's slightly farther back. So that makes it easy to put together. This front section I might make as one piece and not make sides. I'm not entirely sure. There's also some like weird like divots in here that I have marked out where the foam or the leather in the show is like divoted in, but I can do that in foam by making slits on the back and then pressing in on the foam from the front. So like there's all kinds of detail in through the front here. On the actual piece, when I test the pattern, I'm not going to actually do all the details, but that will be on the pattern that I end up putting online, because eventually, you know, you do need to put all these details in, because there's all these little like metal pieces that I have to basically stare at again. But this is the general foam pattern. Also, it's kind of hard to see because of the camera angle, but there's like a piece that sticks up in the back here, which I have patterned half of, that you can't actually see really well. I mean, her hair kind of hides it, but it's there. I don't know what that's for, but it's there. So yeah, the back is basically one solid piece of leather, what looks like in the show, and then this is really messy because I messed up the angle of the lines, but I know where stuff goes, and that doesn't matter right now. So that's the pattern. So now the next step is to cut the pattern off and to cut the base layers of foam. I'm gonna do this at a 6mm and not 4mm, because other than all the tiny little details, there isn't a whole lot of layering to do on this type of piece. All of these like detail lines can be done with half round trim. So that's gonna be really easy. And then all of these little detail pieces can be done with 2mm foam. And like all the scales, you can get pre-cut scales. I would recommend getting pre-cut scales, to be quite honest, because it's gonna be annoying cutting out all those scales by hand. So yeah, okay, pattern is done. Now to cut the base out and to test it and see how it fits. Okay, it is another day, and I have cut out my pattern pieces. I've cut them off of the mannequin, and so now I'm gonna cut them out of foam so that I can test this pattern and see if it works, and then make it into the digital version of this pattern. So I have this physical copy, which will eventually turn into a digital copy, so that you too can make one of these. Okay, let's get some 6mm foam and get to getting. All right, now that I have the front pieces cut out, I'm gonna glue them together. The back actually doesn't need any gluing because it's just gonna overlap, so I just need to bend it and then see how this does. I'm gonna be using contact cement, so I'm gonna put on my respirator.
Excuse you. I'm trying to glue. You can't be around the stinkies. No stinkies for kitties. No stinkies for kitties. What are you doing down here?
So I just tied the piece on, and I definitely have to make some adjustments to this sizing, especially the back piece. It's not long enough. That's one thing about using the mannequin, is because it doesn't have like the actual like real curvature of the back, the straps aren't long enough in the top, and I have to make them a little bit, the back piece a little bit wider, so that I can have the correct overlap, because I think I am hippier than my mannequin, most definitely. So for being able to fit me, I need to make it a little bit different. So I'm gonna make all the changes to the piece, try it on again, and by making changes, I'm just literally gonna add foam. I'm not gonna cut entirely new pieces because this is just a test piece, so it doesn't have to be like pretty or anything. I'm also on the final pattern, I'm gonna raise the neckline up a little bit and alter some of the darts on the sides because they're a little not super close to the body. It's a little gapy. So I'm gonna make those adjustments, and then I will show you what the finished piece looks like. And all those adjustments will be on the final pattern as well. So oftentimes I iterate by making the pattern, making the piece, making a new pattern, making a new piece. With something as big as this, I'm iterating by making the pattern, making the piece, adjusting the piece, and then I'll adjust the pattern afterwards. That's just, it's how I work with bigger pieces like this. Okay, time to make those adjustments. Okay, hi. So yeah, I actually already started doing all the modifications to this, and then I forgot to start recording. So far I have added this piece up here. I actually brought in this line up here. I brought in the boobs a little, the boob lines. I am adding about a 1/2 inch onto these sides. I gotta trim this one down a little bit because I was just using the scrap piece. I have been modifying the patterns, and on the back so far I added the extra little side bits here, and then the last piece I need to do is add on the top of this. So I need to add more up here. So that's the last bit of modification that I need to do for the back, and then I'll try it all on again. Try it on again. I'll try it on again and see how it fits. And if it fits well, then that is the final pattern, and I'll start digitizing it. So let me do that final modification to the back piece and fit it and see what it looks like. I made a breastplate. After making the pattern, cutting out the pattern, cutting out the foam, trying it on, and adjusting it, the pattern has been finalized. Now, don't have any of the details on here because this is the test piece. I ended up bringing up the neckline up here and bringing this in ever so slightly. You can't actually see the modification because I cut it out. I ended up cutting out a little bit of the dart up here and then regluing it just to see how that looked, and I liked it. I ended up adding quite a bit to the sides here, a 1/2 inch on the front and about 1.25 inches on the back on either side. And then the back, I raised the back of the neckline up about 1.75 inches, and then increase the length of the shoulders. On the final pattern, this piece will actually be a little bit shorter, but yeah, this is the whole thing. And I am gonna actually, I made this as one piece because in the show it looks like this is one solid piece, but I am actually going to pattern it as 2 pieces so that there is a bit of a dart here to curve up and around the neck, and also a bit of a dart here because I noticed that there was like a bunch of extra material popping off when I actually wear it. So those are all the modifications that I did, and so now I'm ready to go ahead and make this into the actual pattern to be finalized for wearing an actual armor piece. So yeah, that's my whole process. Hope this was helpful. If you want to make your own, hope this has been helpful and you can maybe use the pattern to make your own. The pattern, again, it'll have all the details because I drew them on the original pattern. I have to modify them a little bit, but I'm going to add all the details on to the pattern so that those will exist digitally. They don't exist in real life yet. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you hopefully in the next video. And yeah, I'll be making the arm pieces for Rhaenys as well. I'm working on making the elbow piece, so she has an elbow piece and a gauntlet piece. And then the armor set for her will be complete. She doesn't have a ton of armor, which is actually both good and bad. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!